the year before, until April 2014, everything
Yes.
was going better. Not maybe because I had more laughter gigs, but I decided I'm so good that I can ask for more money. And then everything,
Yeah.
everything stopped. It was like nothing.
Oh, really? When was
Yeah,
that? In what? In 15 or 14?
2014, it
Wow.
was like a wall. It
Was that
was,
like I don't know what happened in 14?
it was still the echo from 2008 when the
Yeah.
economic started to go low, but it took in Finland over there. And so any job, I worked in a factory, I did dishes, and then 2015 is when the refugees started to come in. I worked in a asylum seeker camp, first for adults, and then my boss said that if you go to the other place, you can go. I make you a boss, and I said yes, I will go. And suddenly, I had 43 Afghan boys that I still call myself a little bit of mom.
Oh no.
And I say I can't give them everything I give to my own two children, but you can love them as much.
Yeah,
They're still,
absolutely. You can always give love, can't you? You can
yeah,
always share love. But you know what? It's quite amazing because, I hear so many people, or I've heard in the past so many people say, "Oh, I'm not going to do this kind of work and so on because my education or my background and so on." But if you want to, you got to be willing to do some work. If you need money or if you want to make a living and so you got to just be ready if there's nothing else. So I really salute you for that. I do the same. And it's so interesting with what you're saying, that the laughter work was going great, and then suddenly it was like, whoa, what? And one of the things I think about as well, because Finland is has topped Denmark now as the happiest nation, hasn't it? I mean, it's
yeah,
only been this year or last year or so, and it used to be. I remember, and this is before. I think it was before I moved to the UK in 2001. That Finland at that time, around 2000 or just before, was the country that had the highest rate of suicides.
yes.
It was really bad, wasn't it? And it's just been shifting around, even with the depression and all that stuff. It's
I guess the happiness in here comes that we have all the elements to be happy,
yeah,
but at the same time, we are very depressed people. It it kind of has the both things.
yeah,
I don't know. I sometimes thought it has to do with the long winter. It's not about that the winter would be bad. Like now, November is coming. If I
yeah,
have to go to work, and we have all kind of organizations, they have their annual meetings in November, and I think November should be a place where you kind of calm down. I can survive November if I have the time to go to the nature and see how it
yeah.
goes to sleep. But if I just run from place to place with the electric light, that drives me crazy.
That affects anybody's mental health,
Yeah.
doesn't it? It's really interesting because that calculation of what makes a country the happiest nation, or
Mm.
the nation the happiest people, or whatever it is, it's not just about what we're doing. It's about our work-life balance, but it's also about, like you say, the country in itself. Do we have all the resources we need? Are we in a location where we actually don't have all the natural disasters and so on? Because that's in the calculation as well. But
Yeah.
I tell you what, I was speaking earlier this morning when I was doing the World Mental Health Day laughter session, and my friend was saying, my friend who organized it, he was saying that there's a professor in the States who calculated how is not laughter, how is happiness calculated, and for a person, and 50% of it is genetic. Your
Yes.
genes, whether you're disposition to feel a little bit upbeat and have that sense of happiness, or whether you're just doom and gloom. That's 50%. 10% is what happens to us, circumstances and everything. Only 10%. And 40% is the choices we make. Isn't that amazing how much impact we actually have? I mean, it's
Yes,
not, well, it's only 40%, but it's still quite a lot of impact we have on our own happiness.
yes,
Um, yeah. So tell me about your laughter journey with laughter yoga. You were saying that you really had to go within yourself to start this journey.
yes.
Mm.
Actually, it started in 2005. I went to a regular yoga class that I used to go, and there came a laughter yoga leader. And she said that Madame Kataria was coming to Finland to teach more leaders. And it was so amazing. I still remember the feeling lying on the floor and laughing, and it took me straight back to my youth. I have a friend, I just, after talking with you, I had a laughter session with her because we did laughter yoga even
Oh.
before it was. We used to sit in the, when teens went out, we used to sit in the corners of the road just laughing. Someone said carrot and we laughed. And that's what it took me back to, when you just laughed and there was no worries, and it took everything, you felt lighter after that. So I tried with a couple of my friends in my parents' living room what I remembered from the first laughter session. And and they say, of course you go to the cars. And I borrowed the money from my mom, and I went. And about the big change, I can say when 2008 I went to Rome to be a laughter yoga teacher. Madame Kataria asked me, were you really in Helsinki? He couldn't remember me, but he remembered me, and I was rememberable after these 3 years when I had laughter going through my body and everything. And so I started to have a laughter club here in Porvoo. There didn't come very many people, but it was fun. And I started to have jobs even, and that's when I realized, well, maybe I could do this as a work too. And then, and my first big gig, I have to tell you this, everybody said it's so difficult to laugh with teenagers. And my first big gig was with 300 high school kids.
Did you enjoy it?
Actually, yes, it was so
Yeah.
amazing because I remember I put them like in little circles
Yeah.
to laugh together. But then there was this one young girl who was sitting all by herself, leaning her back in the wall, and she was crying so that the tears, she actually was crying, laughing, not, but the tears were running through her, and you could see it was so amazing. All these teens, and even the
Yeah.
back road boys, when they left out, they were like, ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. And when I went to the teacher's room after that, they were there, ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. And it
Yeah.
was so so it just took me. But at the same time I did this, I started to feel that my own laughter, it was hollow. No one else could hear it, but I could hear it.
All right.
It started to be hollow. And then I went to the adult children of alcoholics. One of my friends who had tried laughter yoga with me said that, would you like to come there? And I went there, and there you could also say that I'm scared. I'm little. Even that the laughter there was great.
Yeah.
There you also could really see the effects when the laughter breaks the walls down.
Yeah. It humbles you, doesn't it? It really
Yeah,
humbles you. Mm.
we had people who got so mad in the laughter session they went out and came back the next time. But one of the best things was also that one person who related the laughter to her parents drinking, that she came in with the first session we had. She came delayed. She didn't join the laughter session, but she could hear us laughing, and she got this fear, the bottles going, and
Oh, bless.
the people going. You know how adults change when they're drunk and you're little and you
Yeah.
can understand. And then she came to the next laughter session, and we got that away. We got the laughter a good thing to her. And
Wow, that's
so,
quite amazing. That's actually quite moving, to be honest. With
yeah,
that I imagine there are loads of people who have that experience of laughter being connected with something that's not necessarily positive. You
yeah,
know, and that is, it's something I haven't really thought about much. It comes up once in a while, but it's something to really be aware of, isn't it? Why there may be people who are not joining in laughter sessions, maybe because they have a different experience of what laughter has meant to them in maybe in their childhood or in the past at some point. Yeah.
yes,
So that's really moving. So
yeah.
she joined in the second time.
Yeah, and after that, I've been laughing with them, and she comes along always, and she enjoys it.
Yeah.
And also, I had two people who came along, and they said, "We've been crying for so long, and now we can laugh."
Oh.
But also, in the same time, I started my journey because on my 20s, I had been having a very bad depression, and I have always gone to the therapist just to get my nose above water. And it was really scary. It was really scary for me because on my 20s, I really fell down. I tried a suicide. I cut off all my hair
Oh
to
no.
be ugly enough to kill myself.
Oh,
So
Anu.
it was really scary. And this is why I never talk about laughter therapy. Never, because
Yeah.
I'm not a therapist.
Mm.
It has a therapeutic effect and it digs everything up. I know it personally.
Yeah.
I had to deal with it. And then I realized it is because I don't like to show my weaknesses. I still don't. I'm always strong, and I do, and that I think is a lot the thing to do also with the Finnish society. We are known that we come at the right time, except me. But we think we have to be always on our best.
Yeah, do you
And when
know
we
that
are,
is so interesting you say that as well, because for a long time I when I started this and I was doing it part time and so on, I felt that because I was doing this work, I had to be seen to always be
Mhm.
laughing and smiling and so on. And at some point, and that was when I started running the laughter full time back in 2010, because the first 8 years I ran it part time and had a job next to it and so on. But in 2010, when I started doing it full time, I started feeling that imbalance where I thought there's something not quite right. And that's when I started, feeling all the other things and expressing all the other things that, because I was doing laughter, I thought, no, 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 no.
Yeah,
And then starting to just let it all out. But you're right that laughter yoga is not laughter therapy. It's laughter therapy is based on something completely different, and you have to have a background in some way connected with talk therapies, like to really be able to cope with whatever comes up. It is a totally different practice, absolutely. Mm.
yeah.
By the way, I want to say one thing. I love working with teenagers. I know they're not the easiest one, but I love it. And I also know some laughter leaders and teachers who absolutely they've tried it, been there, done that, don't want to do it again. Yeah, and that's fair enough because they are a different species.
Yes, but when you get their trust and you get them to laugh, it's just amazing.
Yeah,
I think, but I think actually it's not the teenagers that is the most difficult group. It's the 12 years old who are kind of not yet there,
yeah,
and they are the ones who have the biggest mask on their face, and you
yeah,
have to be cool
yeah,
because that's what I after my own journey I always I every time when I lead in a group I say I don't count how much you laugh because I've learned that the small smile can be for someone more than they have had in 10 years.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
and I've always, even when I was depressed, I laughed a lot. So
Yeah.
it's easy for me. Laughing is natural to me.
But
And the
that's
more
probably the 50% genes you've got. But you're right. I also say it's not about how loud you laugh or how much. Also, it is about we do what we're able to do in that moment, and anything, as long as we're willing to just give it a go, anything is beautiful when we share that moment, whether it's a smile or a laugh or so in a laughter session. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be big and
And,
loud.
and as a leader, you actually, when you don't focus to the people, I remember when I started that I kind of focused, why doesn't he or she laugh? Why doesn't
Yeah,
don't they join this? But when I learned that don't
mm,
concentrate on them,
yeah, yeah,
concentrate
because
on
you
the
take
people
focus
who are
away.
laughing. They they know that, okay, I they have their own time and they can
Yeah,
join.
yeah.
But
And they
also,
probably get as much joy from it anyway without expressing it, because they feel differently no matter how much they join in.
yeah,
And also, if you focus on the people who don't want, they often feel like they're being singled out, don't they? And that's exactly what they don't want to. That's why they're hesitant to join in, isn't it? Mm.
yeah.
Yeah,
But then it's when you've done a lot of work. One thing when I often go to the workplaces, this is the instant way to see if everything is in order in the workplace.
yeah,
If people have the right to be themselves. And I mean this also with they are allowed not to laugh.
yeah,
A good working place you can join or you cannot
yeah.
decide to be in
No pressure,
your
no
own.
pressure.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But there are loads of places, loads of workplaces, and I remember this from the 90s and so on, that, it was probably not because you were pressured into it, but it's the pressure you put on yourself, isn't it, to fit in the different groups
Yeah.
you're in, and so, and I enjoyed the work I was doing, but, in when looking back, it's like I was trying to fit in all the time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, but I actually have called to the person who hired me because I remember I had a laughter gig. Most of them joined very well, but there were different departments and two people they laughed, but then they left away. I had to call their boss and say it wasn't those two people. They wanted to join. There was one other person who made them feel stupid about laughing.
oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not good either. That's
no,
not good because, yeah, those sessions where there are people who absolutely don't like it and mock other people. You just want them to leave the room, don't you? Because otherwise, it really affects how much the other people who are really into it enjoy it.
yeah.
So yeah. So what then? So you did this for a long time, and right now you're having a break from it, or?
Well, I there's one thing I would like to have something more.
Yeah.
The thing is, the thing where the money comes from is that you go to the companies or whatever place and you have the laughter kick.
Yeah.
And I made a concept that I know that works. I started about the silent laughter, about how I kind of go through feelings with laughter. And with that way, I know I get the people to open up. But for me, it's always the same. And it's the one time, of course, I'm trying to make their anchors that I have, like when you have the receipt in the store, laugh at it and show the guy behind you. So I hope that at least someone has a little smile next time they've been doing their Christmas shopping and they're like, oh my God, how much did I spend? But it doesn't have the continuous, you just
Mm,
go there. And even that we're not so like stand-up comedians that we stand there, we actually join it, we lead it, we don't tell people to laugh, but still it's that one time and it goes. And I haven't found a way to make it so that people could continue with it. So I do enjoy when I don't take so many because I work from 8 to 4 every day, but I sometimes take, and I do enjoy the feeling when people start laughing, but I just want to have more, and I'm looking for the ways to do it.
So so do you have your own practice? Do you do anything for yourself to kind of laugh every day?
Uh, Not enough. I don't.
No.
I used to have Skype Laughter Club, and
Yeah.
I must say, last year I've been missing it a lot, but for some reason, the scheduling is right now. I don't want to be scheduled.
Ah,
But
okay. Fair enough.
Skype Laughter Club was for me because even that I can, and I do it sometimes when I need the stress relief, or actually I have the routine when I get very anxious. I do something, even dancing or heavy work, that I get my shoulders kind of open, and then I cry a lot, and then I laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And the neighbors thank me because I usually do this outside. but
Yeah.
but I'm
Do you
not
have a
good in doing.
sauna or sauna? Do you have a sauna?
No, I'm sorry,
Because
I don't.
a lot of homes in Finland have saunas, don't they?
Yes.
Or is that just a myth?
No, it actually. I used to have a sauna, but uh, uh, it's not in shape to use, and I haven't had
Oh, okay.
money to fix
Because
a
I
new
thought,
one.
is it even okay to laugh in a sauna because your breath is kind of because of the heat is like
Yes, it's okay, but I maybe use sauna more for
yeah.
relaxations. But when we had the laughter yoga teacher training in Finland, we had sauna every night.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah, because they say that the word lolu, which is the water cast in the stove,
Yeah.
actually means that your body opens up and your soul goes free
Oh,
in an
wow.
ancient Finnish language. So I actually think sauna is our way of meditating
Wow, that's
because
amazing. Yeah.
it's it's a place where people actually do also talk very deep, but they also sit quiet and just
Yeah.
listen to the sound and the heat there. So of course you can do laughter in sauna, and of course people sometimes do when you have good friends and you talk. But for me, sauna is the place where,
Yeah. I
where
remember, I remember in a company I worked with. This was back in the 90s, and we had some business partners up in Finland, and we were inviting them to this conference. And the invitation was it was a little wooden box with wood chips in, and on the wood chips was placed like a tiny little bottle of vodka and some dried sausages, and then it was an invitation to have a pre-meeting in a sauna or sauna, as they say.
yeah. But this
So,
is
so that was just a different way of having a business meeting, I would say.
yeah. But it's kind of because we actually don't wear clothes in sauna, so it's
I know,
not gender neutral. So
I know, and this is, but the in the 90s, because I worked in technology companies and so on, and they were so innovative, and I'm pretty sure that the idea was that you would be naked in the sauna at that business meeting.
yeah,
People didn't
yeah,
have those inhibitions about, well, what when we're drinking together, it doesn't really matter anyway. And the business, I don't know what the business meeting would end up with, but
yeah.
yeah. So I imagine that it would probably be instead of drinking in the sauna and eating sausages, it would probably be better to have a little bit of a laugh.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's
So
why.
how is laughter yoga in Finland? Is it? I mean, now you're not doing it right now, of course, yeah. But was it easy or so?
Actually, it was surprisingly easy. I say
Yeah.
99% of Finns laugh so well. People always ask about Finnish people, like recorders, that Finnish people really don't laugh. I say, yes, they do. It is amazing.
Yeah.
There's always a reason why they don't laugh. And it can be many reasons. It's the very strong mask that you have, but then It can be also you had an argument last night with your spouse,
Yeah.
or the child was crying all night, or whatever worries you have in life,
Yeah.
and you just can't make yourself to laugh, and it's okay. And I think as important in laughter is laughter. I always speak that laughter and crying are like sisters.
Mm.
They are as important in life. And if you don't have both of them, you can't do neither of them from deep in your soul.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I love that because this is exactly what I felt back there when I thought there's something not in balance here in my life. And it was because I was missing out on actually embracing the tears as well.
Yeah,
And you know, once you open up, it's like you just free yourself. You know, like you talk about the soul, and it really is. I get goosebumps right now,
yeah,
but it really is so important that we don't just push things aside because it's scary to face or however we feel. It's yeah, it is really important. So so you cry and you laugh when you laugh.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm
that
not
is really
afraid. I was leaving a laughter club 2 weeks after my mother died, and I just told the people my mother has died. So don't be afraid if I cry, but I didn't because I wasn't afraid of it anymore.
yeah,
But the laughter also brings it. It kind of releases you when you really laugh. You can't hide any kind of feelings. You have to deal with them,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and that this is why I think you have to be very gentle with it's a power, and I think it's also why people are sometimes afraid of it because it's so powerful.
yeah,
It actually is. You can't hide behind anything. And I actually, with the work life too, I noticed that the higher the leaders are, the better they laugh. The middle leaders are usually the ones struggling and trying to fit in
yeah.
and think they have to. But I laughed in one conference where there was the head of Microsoft in Finland. Oh boy, he laughed. He just because to be a big leader, you
Yeah,
have to be able not to be scared of the little things. You
yeah,
have to realize them, but you have to be able to push them back and take the chance.
I love that. You know, I've laughed with some top managers as well in different companies, and when the CEO has kind of set the tone, the and set you know and showed they can laugh and so on. That's when the middle leaders slowly follow, but they are more hesitant, even if
Yeah,
the CEO is going oh and really
yeah,
letting go and so on. But it's like you say, the middle layers where they have the inhibitions.
yeah,
So it's really interesting. They are also sometimes the ones, if they are organizing for their own team, their team
yeah,
that they manage, they're the ones who are not necessarily joining in, but the team is joining in because the workshop is set up for them. And that's how what I've experienced as well. That the manager has okayed the workshop, and
mm,
it's a group meeting where the manager is also there, but he or she steps out of the session when the team is doing the laughter.
yeah,
Very interesting dynamic.
yeah.
Mm,
And then also what I've been talking, and that is something I would like to take further, but and I've been talking about it, is the difference between good and bad laughter. Because the bad laughter is the one when you laugh at the others,
yeah,
and it actually makes you very small. Those people, you also can fo- see them in a group when you have laughter groups. They say they laugh a lot, but when you're supposed to laugh, go with the laugh that is freeing and opening, they don't join because their laughter is mean.
yeah,
And
and it's depending on something else. Absolutely, and they are often the ones who step out of the session because they can't connect with it. They really don't, yeah, connect.
no, but
That's so, yeah, yeah. So you talk about that good and bad laughter.
yeah, I actually have been having a lecture about it because that's something I would like to go. take to the schools also, because the
The
people
bad
who bully,
laughter is where the bullying comes from.
yeah,
It's yeah. Mm,
but this is actually something I realized. I was talking, I was just having a lecture about the meaning of laughter.
yeah,
And then I realized in the middle of laughter, if you now point your finger at me, can you do that? This is now allowed. It's rude, I know, but just point your finger just like this at me. Do you see where the other three fingers are pointing
yeah,
at?
yeah.
And that's
Absolute,
it's
yeah,
kind of, if you laugh at the other one, you're weird.
yeah,
You start to be afraid that
yeah,
you are weird. You laugh at someone, you're fat, you're ugly. Am I perfect? Am I doing like I'm supposed to do? When you laugh at the other ones, it comes harder on you. And I say it makes a brick wall to
yeah.
you and around you, and it goes smaller with every laugh you do. But
Mm.
if you point the fingers at you, when you if you do this concretely, try it.
Okay, yeah.
Where do the three fingers point now?
Well, because of my hands, they're always important to me.
But they do actually point away, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
when you, and it has to be gentle, it never can be mean, but when you
yeah,
learn to laugh at yourself, gentle and understanding that you're not a perfect person, it
yeah,
actually makes a big wall around you, a good wall that protects you. It's like a dome. I'm here, I'm okay. And if you come and point your finger at me, it hits the dome. I'm safe. It doesn't matter. I laughed at this stupid thing already. I know who I am.
yeah,
It makes me stronger.
yeah.
And I think
Mm.
that is what you should explain to people who bully. That it, yes, it makes, I don't want to minimize the thing that the people who are bullied feel and how broken they get.
Of
But
course
you
not.
bully yourself at the same time.
Yeah,
And if you think about when you see the work clients who make still the happy people slowly when they have been doing the work with themselves, they are the bullied
yeah,
ones. The
yeah,
bulliers, they're not, they can be in high positions, but when you follow their
yeah.
life, they're not actually happy.
No, they're covering up, aren't they? I mean, what they're projecting onto others is something that's going on in themselves that they don't want to face. And it's I think it's a really good conversation. And in workplaces, for example, I do think not just in workplaces, but anywhere where bullying is taking place,
Mm,
it does have to come from both ends, both the top and the bottom, and meet at the
mm,
middle, and then engage in those in the middle who are probably the ones who have biggest insecurities.
yes,
Um, so I I think there's a lot more to laughter, like we're talking about, than just laughter yoga, than just the physical act, because so much happens in us when we share that moment of laughter, and we do it genuinely. And like you were saying, you can see who's uncomfortable, who's not in that frame of mind where they can laugh at themselves, because they will try and make a joke of it,
yes,
and make the joke on someone else,
yes,
whether it's me and you being the facilitator, or whether it's someone in the group. And I've heard people say, "Oh, you should have seen yourself laughing," and I think it's one of the worst things, because when we're laughing and we let go, we don't even think about that image, because
yeah,
often what holds people back is that image they want to project, and based on whether it's based on media or other things, upbringing or so. But in that moment where we laugh together and really laugh together, that's when people let go, and coming afterwards and say, "Oh, you should have seen yourself." It's just really nasty in my book.
yeah. And then also, but I also have the cutest thing. It, it was this man who, I think he was an engineer. I'm not sure. It was a company with a lot of people. He joined, but he explained the whole thing for him all the time.
Oh,
So he kind of made it okay to him. It wasn't disturbing. I think it was adorable, but he had to kind of let himself the promise. It had nothing to do with anybody else, but he
Oh,
kind of explained the whole way how he was laughing, and it was just amazing.
no. But that's again a different thing, like you're saying. You know,
Yeah,
it's for him to be comfortable with it, maybe. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. And it
but
is different. I mean, it's that whole thing coming from our normal
yeah,
to really allowing ourselves to let go, whether we let go in laughing loudly or just really laughing from our heart and soul.
yeah,
And that doesn't have to be loud. You know, when
no,
people do the silent laughter, you were saying you open with the silent laughter. That's where you really, really connect in, isn't it?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
you also connect in with your background because you
yeah,
remember the silent laughter when you were not supposed to laugh in school or wherever it was, yeah. And you
yeah,
remember this. It's sometimes I think it's amazing we have these tools that we can really reconnect, but also the sadness in that we forget to stay connected in many ways. Mm,
yes.
yeah,
And nowadays it's even harder. I when we have this study about the laughter, the German study, I don't know if you use it in England, that how much people laughed in the 50s, 18 minutes, and it was 6 minutes in the 80s
yeah,
in Germany. I then also ask, well, how much, when I ask people to think how much would it be, and then I start to talk to them that still in the 80s, we just walked in the neighbor's house and had a cup of coffee or called a friend. What do we do now? We write to Facebook laughing out loud.
yeah. But not just that. Yeah, yeah, LOL. You know, you don't even do it physically.
Yeah,
But even so, you know, that whole thing about you would just knock on the back door and say, "Are you in? All right, I'll come and I'll make the coffee and you come and sit down." So you would just help yourself, wouldn't you? And people don't do that now. You have to organize and arrange
yeah.
and then
You
really
have your
connect.
calendar. Maybe next month I have half an hour for you.
Yeah. And even if people only had 5 minutes, you would just step in and say, okay, won't have the coffee because that takes too long, but let's just chat the 5 minutes you got.
Yeah,
Yeah. But of course, there are good things as well with how we're
mm,
connected now as well, because if if we didn't have that connection, you and I wouldn't sit here and chat.
yeah. Of course, it's
Mm,
amazing. And my favorite thing, I was doing Skype Laughter Club from 2009 till 2015 when I started to work in a reception center and I didn't have time anymore.
yeah.
But I still had a few couple of weeks, and it was so amazing. I remember when I went to Germany and I met some of the people I've been laughing in Skype together. I
Yeah.
didn't use the video in Skype, and I still wouldn't because it was all about laughter meditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the feeling when it was the connection was amazing, and we had people from all other continents except Antarctica. We had people from Singapore and United States laughing together.
Mm,
We it was so good, and I didn't want. I know now they have practices and breathing and everything, but we didn't want to take it. The people we laughed them together, we didn't want to. It actually worked the best way when we had this chat and people chat there, but still we laugh and we didn't
yeah.
talk, and it was so amazing.
No. And that's the thing, and it's like because when the Skype laughter started, that was how I don't know how it is now, but I do remember, and I remember you were part of the first ones who were running it, and it was that you would just sit and laugh. The only thing I kind of disconnected from was that there was the chatting, because
Yeah.
for me it was don't look at that because it's only about the laughter. Yeah, because when you start chatting, it's kind of like you start thinking, what are people saying?
Yeah, I know, but you
Yeah.
could also, I often did that. I just closed my eyes and laughed,
Yeah, yeah,
especially when I joined. Of course, I had to check the chat all the time when I was the one leading
yeah,
because you had to see if people were joining in. so the best laughers I had was probably when someone else was leaving and I could
Yeah.
just lay in my bed, especially when the phones came along. So you just put your phone here and you were just laying and laughing
Yeah.
and
But
enjoying
that's
it.
the beauty of it, that you could just put the phone aside or turn away from the computer and just
Yeah,
laugh along without watching or looking what was being
yeah.
written. Yeah.
And we
So
had a guy joining from Germany. He was on a train station. He said the motorbikers next to him were laughing too.
brilliant. But the thing is, there is ways for people to laugh every day, isn't
Yeah.
it? There's still the Skype laughter club, and the telephone laughter, because you said you joined in with it at some point, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I did because I also wanted to because you could join from Finland and I think you're also supposed to support the other leaders what their ideas is. And maybe I joined only once, but at least I
You
said
did
I
turn up.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
there are these ways, and right now there are lots of Zooms going on as well,
mm,
and people connecting around the world, and it's actually quite touching to hear the stories of how people have connected and made friends and so on. Some people will maybe never meet in person, but you know, we've
you
created
still
some
love
connections,
them.
haven't we? Yeah, 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 yeah,
I think Laughter Family is a whole big family in the
yeah,
world, and
yeah,
and it's just amazing. I This is actually the first time we really talk like this, but I always felt that we share something important. I always respected you, even that I just read you in Facebook, but
thank you.
we know
Me
that we
too.
have
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Absolutely. And even though I thought you I thought you lived in the States. But I still thought, wow, how amazing. Here we are from Scandinavia, and
Mm,
doing this in places where I mean, people in Denmark were really initially, they were just really taken to laughter. You've heard about the World
yeah,
Laughter in 2000 and so on. And to think that 10,000 people, almost 10,000 people came together just to laugh and shake hands and laugh some more and so on.
yeah,
That's quite amazing, and still going strong and so on. But it is different to laugh in Denmark than it is here in the UK, I must say.
yeah,
Because of cultural differences.
yeah. But still, I think laughter is one that has been connecting me through the world, even though I haven't
Yeah,
been in every places. But when we have this one big thing in common, it's also one of the things that actually made me realize that it doesn't matter what your religion is, what your gender
yeah,
is, what your sexuality is, whatever is, we are deep down the same. It doesn't matter what culture you come, we're deep down the same. And the thing that is mutual in us, we want to be connected, we want to be seen and heard.
yeah. And loved.
Yeah,
Love is one of the drivers as well, isn't it? That we're connected in a really kind way, and not in a way where people get hurt and so on. But we really just want that, like you say, the connection in a nice way. Um,
yeah.
and
And it's
laughter
been,
really, and this is again the lesson, I think a lot of people. This is where we have a job to do, to teach
mm,
about that difference between what's actually the laughter that we're supposed to share, and what's the laughter that's not really bringing any goodness with it, like
yeah,
you're saying, good and bad laughter, or whatever you call it. Yeah.
yeah,
And I think that's really where our message is, isn't it? That we are connected so deeply, no matter what. And laughter just really eliminates all the differences, whether people approve or disapprove, or agree or disagree, or whatever different lifestyles. That is unimportant when we're sharing laughter.
yes. And the whole humanity, it's like
Yeah,
today is the World Mental Health Day, and in Finland they say that the right to be heard and seen,
yeah,
and that's what we all need. We
yeah,
need someone to see us. We need someone to see us who we are with our faults and we need to see ourselves with our faults.
Yeah.
It's all, laughter is all about also the shadow work, that you have to embrace the shadows in yourself, that you have to recognize that I'm not a perfect person. And I think laughter helps with that,
Yeah.
that the
Oh
world,
yeah.
world isn't perfect. There's nothing perfect. Everything can go wrong at moment, and we can't be afraid of it beforehand.
Yeah. You know, that is, I think that's so beautiful because, you know, when we are in these places where we face those things that we don't like facing, because no
Mm.
one really like facing their fears or their worries or so, and actually have them up front in their face.
Mhm.
Um, but that's where we also know within the laughter family that we have people who are so supportive and so kind and loving and there to listen. You know, I really feel that. Well, I hope that people have made those connections and friendships that really really matter in this as well. We have also friends outside of the laughter world, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm, who
but
are
I
equally important, really.
yeah, but I think the most important thing in my life is my children and laughter, that have made me who I now am, who have shaped the best out of me. Not a perfect one, but the best. My
Yeah,
children, because they are the mirrors. If I don't live like I teach them, my daughter is very fast to say that, why did you say bad about this person? Why did you say
oh,
that? Well, she's now 22, but she still does it.
wow.
20, and my son is 22, but they still do it. My
That
my
is
son is
so
like, you can't laugh at that bad joke about Trump. He's a human being. And I'm like, I want to laugh, but I can't because he says the truth.
but that is so good. It actually reminds me that my daughter used to say when I'm having a go at someone who may not be in the room, she said, "Stop it! You know, it doesn't make a difference if you don't say it to their face." So, and it is so true. I don't do it often because I don't believe in all that. I mean, this is where Scandinavian people are quite direct in my experience
Mhm.
compared to many other people. And so, you know, why go around and talk about people when they're not there?
But children and laughter are something that have been making me to take responsibility of my life. Laughter gives a lot of strength, but also to do it well, it makes you, you must be responsible of your life,
Yeah,
that you are the leader of your life, and how you take the bad things, how you survive.
yeah, yeah. But 10% only shapes our happiness of the
Mm.
circumstances we're facing.
Yeah,
I really think that's quite some numbers.
yeah,
And yet, you know, we are not numbers anyway. We are human beings. So can you really put a number
yeah.
on this? Maybe you can in some ways. I don't know.
Mm.
But we are just human beings and souls that are connecting. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't believe, I mean, even though we started late, Arno,
Mhm.
we're still almost, it's almost been an hour now. I
Yeah.
can't believe it. Do you have anything you want to, without me interrupting you? Thank you very much. Anything you want to just leave people with? I think there are some amazing thoughts you've shared here that I know that people will take away as well. But is there anything you want to leave people with as could be a tip or just a thought or just some words of wisdom?
Well, just be together. See the people in need. Laugh together. Reach out. I think this, as I said, this family is amazing. I've been getting messages from my Skype Laughter Club friends when I've been deep down. I haven't written anything in Facebook, but they have been knowing, and they have been sending me private messages. Anu, how are you doing?
Oh,
We
that
need
is
each other.
lovely. Yeah, yeah. And you know, that is so lovely. And it's remembering no matter what, we are connected. And,
Yeah.
you know, and people are looking out for you and looking out for us and so on.
And we
So,
share one of the most amazing things together here in the lab world.
yeah,
We we share the heart.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I really, really hope we'll meet in person at some point in the future. Otherwise, we'll
Well,
have to do this again, won't we? Mm.
yeah.
So I just really want to thank you for agreeing to. I don't know if it's getting up early for you.
No, no, it's okay. I think last week was just with all the energies and everything. I want to thank you for being so patient with me. And
Ah,
even
no.
the day I remembered this, but still I was late because the computer was so slow.
Oh, but can I just say, wasn't it last week as well? It was your birthday or so.
Well, Friday, yes.
Yeah, so you were excused for being still sleeping Sunday morning. So happy birthday last week. But you know what? Slow computers or birthdays, we made it, and I'm so
Yeah,
grateful for it. It's been such a joy and pleasure to just connect with you. So thank you so much, Anna. I hope to see you again soon.
I hope so too.
Yeah. So have a lovely, lovely weekend, and we'll stay connected. Yeah.
Yes, and hope everybody else who might have been listening has it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Take care, yeah, and stay safe up in Finland.
Yes, you too. Bye.
Bye.